it's a way different feeling from when you were in my office. And I can tell that y'all put in the work to communicate. I can tell.
We have the vision, we have the goal, we have the genuine ability. No one in this world, unless God himself comes back and says, Kyle, I'm stopping you, no one will have as much energy that I will to do what I need to make sure that I am where I want to be.
Thank you for joining us on our Family First Life Tri-State Serve the People podcast. We appreciate you tuning in, spending your time to develop and grow with us. Follow us, please, on all our social media platforms at Family First Life Tri-State or FFL Tri-State. We love you. Keep listening, and I hope this information is serving you across the country.
All right, everybody. Thank you for joining us today for our Tri-State Trends podcast. I got my man Kyle Watson with me, a Philadelphia. Well, Kyle, is it actually Philly or is it just East PA?
So it's Northeast PA, but I was born in Philly, so you can say
Okay.
Philly.
All right. I was in pocket. A Philadelphia native who's been killing it as of recently, is very close to multiple offices in this area and has been asked to jump in and jump on and get on this podcast and come in and train over here. So I'm thrilled, my man, to have you part of Health and Wealth, and you've been killing it lately. And
Yes, sir.
I remember having some talks with you not too long ago, probably February, maybe January, and just trying to get a feel for where you're at. And there's things that have obviously taken place that has allowed you to, kind of lock in and start helping 40-plus families a month, every single month. And I want to get into that because there's some people that want to do the exact same thing. But before I do that, man, how are you doing, man? How's everything going? And welcome to the podcast.
I appreciate it. Thank you for having me back. Everything's been great. Growing immensely, training immensely. The growth I think that I've had personally and individually, along with team-wise in the last, just 90 days alone has been exponential, has been absolutely really amazing. Not where we want to be yet, but still working each and every day to get there. My fiance Jonna, who you all know, she runs every aspect of our back end, which allows me to thoroughly take a deeper dive into how I can be more successful production wise. And then when we're in home or when I'm at home, how we can effectively both build together.
That's fantastic. And I love what you said. You have grown exponentially, and it's visual. It's you can see it. So I want to hear about it though, because this is where champions are made. So why don't you talk about some of the things you've done to change to start exponential growth for yourself and for your agency?
So it's very simple. We had a conversation right, I want to say end of January, and we sat in your office and you were like, listen, here's what's important. The only way we're going to get there is if we dump everything into leads, tenfold. And I was like, he might know what he's talking about. So, so I was like, you know what? I was like, babe, let's see what we can do if we just really, really, really pour into everything else. And that's just it. My biggest month, where I believe it was March, wrote 72, 73, issued almost like 55, 56, came from tripling my lead spend in January. I said, I don't care what goes on. I don't care what happens. Can I put gas in my car? Can the kids eat? Do we have a roof overhead? Great. Every other dime needs to go to a lead. And that's exactly what happened. And from there, I figured out I am resolving these leads until I get. Sorry, what did you say?
No, I was laughing. Go ahead.
Until I get a no in person, right? So how I resolve it is on Sunday nights, early Monday mornings, because I'm up crack of dawn 3 or 4, just because between kids and going to the gym and stuff like that, I'm going into CRM, grabbing my leads, right? From that point, I give myself a 24 to 48 hour window. If I don't hear from these leads in some capacity, whether it's a triple dial in the morning, triple dial at night. I send a text message with a picture of the lead, a text script, all that other stuff. If I don't hear from them in some capacity, I'm on your doorstep. Just the way I operate. So if we don't book an appointment or I don't hear from you, great, you go in this pile. And in this pile, whether it's 5 leads or 500, doesn't matter. I'll figure out how to get to 500 homes. Or, I'm sorry, 500 homes in a week. It doesn't matter. I'll figure it out. Put it in Road Warrior, and I get the job done. Because a lot of where we're located, like Northeast PA, Philadelphia, even in Jersey, people are commuting Monday through Friday. I started figuring out, and I took what your entire name and aspect is, how can I serve the people if I don't know the people? Right? You have to understand, a lot of where we are, people commute. That means they take 3, 4, 5, 6 hours extra out of their day to just get to their job. So they might not answer the phone, Monday or Thursday at 8, at 8 a.m., 9 a.m., 10 a.m. How are you going to reach these people? And a lot of the times when I've gone to people's homes, they're like, oh my gosh, thank goodness you do house calls. We can't believe it. Yeah, no problem. Come right in. And if I'm in home, I'm making sure, you bet your bottom dollar, if there's 2 people in a home, why would I not have a his and hers policy? Ma'am, you need to have the same access that he does to me at the drop of a dime when crap hits the fan. Why would you want it any other way? So I genuinely take it so seriously when I get leads in any capacity, whether someone's saying, hey, I haven't reached this person, or it's my, my flow from my counties that I have blocked out. When I get the lead in any sort, I give myself a 24 to 48 hour window. If there's no response in any way, great, I'm on your doorstep. And it's created such a consistent urgency to resolve everything.
Wow, that you said a lot. You capped it with, it created a consistent urgency. And that's where the gold is. Like you said a lot, but the very last line captured the gold. Because consistency, my friend, would it be fair to say that post-January last year, you didn't have that consistency? Would that be fair?
100%. It wasn't there.
Why not?
Number one, my mentality, 100%. That didn't come from not having the desire to work or be consistent. We had a lot of personal things that have nothing to do with this aspect affecting outside sources. So that was it. And that's a bit of a pity party on my end. But that, just a reality of what I was going through in those moments. And then once we kind of got ourselves in a different living situation for ourselves and our family, which again only came from consistently working.
Yeah.
It didn't just get better overnight because I really wanted it to. I had to just continue to get up. And once that happened, the aspect of, okay, great, now we're in a different part of whether like Pennsylvania or a different position where a lot of the leads that I'm running are all on the same block. You just have to be willing to get out there. I don't care how high gas is going right now. You said it multiple times. We drive a lot of miles because we get paid a lot. It's a very simple process that if you just trust it, and that's what I've seen in my team as well, is a lot of guys are buying into it. They're like, oh, wow, yeah, Kyle, if I do this, I get that.
It's amazing what leading from the front will do.
100%.
So you didn't have that mindset. There was some, outside circumstances. When you came to my office, if I'm being really honest, it's not, of course you could do it. That was never a question. I didn't know if you would. Do you remember the conversations and the stuff me and your fiance talked about? I'm like, I just felt like there was a self-fulfilling prophecy for y'all that this is just the way it is, And I didn't know if you felt the same thing or not, but clearly it doesn't have to be from that office visit. It could be anything that you decided to do. You made some stark changes, and I'm so happy. I'm just so happy watching this now on the other side of you deciding to make a decision. I guess the message is, anybody can decide. Anybody can decide, Kyle, to make a decision. Mm-hmm. On the other side of this this podcast wall is a man who made a decision. And you made a decision, and that decision to be consistently willing to resolve leads at all costs. Therein lies the word activity. Mm-hmm. How much has your activity ramped up, Kyle? Because really, when we were in my office, the biggest issue was low activity. And I wasn't sure, kids, spouse, coddling, I wasn't sure if y'all were going to make a decision to put in the activity. I knew you could. I just wasn't sure if you would. So from my mouth to your ears, and then from your mouth back to the audience, what went into all of that?
An aggressive amount of sacrifice that you just have to accept.
Did y'all have a conversation? Wait, because that was not going to happen without a dual conversation between you and Jonah, where both of you said, we have to make this aggressive amount of sacrifice. What was that conversation like? And what were the things that y'all talked about you were willing to give up?
So it's funny. I want to say we actually, so there's like a Dunkin' Donuts down the street from your office. Oh. And we just went to that. We went to that parking lot and we sat for like an hour or maybe two.
Wow.
And we were like, we're squaring this John away now. Wow. Because we need to figure out, number one, what do we really want? Honestly. And that's what you asked us. Mm-hmm. Like, not even what we wrote down. What do we sincerely want? And it was out of each other, out of the rest of this year, out of a team, and so on and so forth.
Wow.
And with that, we kind of looked at, like, seriously, I've missed 3 weddings since, the meeting at your office. I haven't gone to a lot of certain things. I haven't done whatever, whether it's family part, whatever it might be, off of the decision of a bigger goal. Right? There's a genuine thing that I am chasing that will not even be attainable without sacrifice because of the amount of activity it takes to get there. So with that, unless it's money-making activity, building activity, recruiting, it all kind of encompasses the same thing. To be honest, I don't do it. I take one day for myself, but I run 6 days a week of consistent activity, and that's been the only change.
Wow.
Because effort and consistent activity breed production. Just by default, you'll be there. And I'm still not where I want to be at yet. Yeah. Until I can clear a month where I do more than Steve.
I love this.
Then I'll be, maybe dial it back.
Dude. First off, I never knew the back. Like, I never heard after y'all left my office. Like, I never knew what took place, how it took place. Your results spoke to a decision you made. How you made that decision, I had no idea until just now. That's boss. But see, when you look back on the history books of now the Watson family, this is when it gets real. You're always going to look to that parking lot. And you're going to be able to document that intense conversation for an hour of what y'all decided to do and what you decided to give up. And that's it, brother. It's written. It
was a very, very, high octane, you've met Jonna. We're both very high strung people. She's love her to death, but we have no we have no problem saying what we're feeling.
Got it.
But we kept it, honest with each other. We're like, just keep going. We have the vision, we have the goal, we have the genuine ability. No one in this world, unless God himself comes back and says, Kyle, I'm stopping you, no one will have as much energy that I will to do what I need to make sure that I am where I want to be.
That's boss talk.
And with that comes from having a partner that's just as on board with everything in every capacity. There's nothing that we do that is not discussed, executed on time. It's where it's at.
Wow. And see, all we try to do is plant the seeds to help you see what's inside of you so that it can blossom outside of you. I don't control what happens with that. I saw your fiance, who is, all gas, no brakes. And then I saw you, who was kind of like, nah, maybe, honey. And then we talked about it, like, intensely. And then, but then I'm looking at you, I'm like, this dude is ripped. This dude speaks with conviction. This dude I could see it. Like, I'm like, he wants it. But I don't know. He has to make a decision. And then I'm like,
exactly.
So, but then I knew if the two of y'all if she could stop doing a few of the things she was doing, and you could stop doing a few of the things you were doing, it was a wrap. And that's all I was trying to get across that day. And I didn't know if I was gonna deliver the message or not. Because so much is on the other side. Like, you have to be willing to want to receive. You have to be willing to make some changes, and you have to be willing to put motion or put action in motion. So, man, I'm over the moon talking to you right now.
Yeah.
Because
do you remember I'm sorry to interrupt. The schedule that we wrote down on your whiteboard, how it was a breakdown of everything, that schedule is the lock screen of my iPad.
Wow.
So I structure, and we keep the Friday nights just like how you and Robin did. Mm-hmm. Hey, I'm going to work till 2, whatever it might be. Mm-hmm. And like, I work Saturdays and Sundays just because I know people are home, because I know the demographic of where we are. Mm-hmm. So I use that to my advantage.
Right.
But I stick to that schedule. Times of when I wake up, go to the gym in the morning and have to myself and have with the girls. And then other than that, I'm working. It's consistent, ungodly amounts of effort and energy.
Jesus.
And that's all it is.
Two could put, they said, the Bible says one could put 1,000 to flight, two could put 10,000 to flight. The accountability y'all have to each other, the accountability you have now to your goals, the accountability you now have to your future marriage, the accountability you have to your kids. You know what I mean? Like, it's unbeatable. It's difficult to beat that. It's brutal to beat that when two people are focused and have the same goals and are willing to make the sacrifices. Bruh, it's a wrap. Like, I'm like, my skin's moving. That's how freaking excited I am about where you two are headed, and I can feel it, which it's a way different feeling from when you were in my office. And I can tell that y'all put in the work to communicate. I can tell. I can just smell it. And it's
not easy.
It's not easy.
It's not easy.
Amen. But it's worth it.
Yes.
It's making change. You're able to. The conversations you're having now are different than the conversations you were having. Facts. You don't have to tell me what they are. 100% facts. And I know she's looking at you way differently. Yeah, and I know you're looking at her differently.
We kind of like revisited our commitment to ourselves and each other's personal goals. Mm. Like, we genuinely, it was such an in-depth conversation that, like, because the blueprint for this business is very simple. Mm. You have to, like, deliberately not do things that are shown on a daily basis to not get the results. Yeah, but we had to figure out, how do we change as individuals and as a couple to get to where we want to professionally.
I could do this for hours. And we're running out of time. Yo, We have got to get you back on, bro. This is definitely trending. Whoa! So, thank you for sharing. This is massive, bro. That we are going to get you back on, so that we can still uncover something. Because here's married couples, doesn't matter. It's difficult to do what y'all did as fast as you did. It speaks to the insane willingness you both had, still have, and how eager you both were to get this fit. Like that's like worth diamond mines. And it's like we've got to cover this. But my man, I appreciate you sharing on our Tri-State Trends podcast. This one was a barn burner. Thank you, Kyle.
Hey, thank you so much. Appreciate you.
Appreciate y'all. Keep listening. We'll keep bringing the value. God bless.